Good morning, everyone. I'm Shanza Hussain, and today my topic is cholinergic drugs. It comes under the subject pharmacology. This slide is not made by me, but the voice and explanation is done by me. Uh, so, let's start the topic cholinergic drugs. It is guided by our teacher in university. What is cholinergic drug? The definition: cholinergic drugs are a category of pharmaceutical agents that act upon the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, the primary neurotransmitter within the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, firstly, one would ask, what is parasympathetic nervous system? So, in short, I can say that there are two types of nervous systems. One is central nervous system and another is peripheral nervous system, and the parasympathetic and sympathetic come in autonomic nervous system that comes under peripheral nervous system. So their parasympathetic nervous system is the type of a nervous system that works in the rest and digest position. It is also known as cholinomimetic or parasympathetic drugs. So we should remember the name parasympathetic drugs. Now we come to the classification. It is just the same as I have already done in the anticholinesterase topics. Here, cholinergic drugs are divided into cholinergic agonist and anticholinesterases. Cholinergic agonists are choline esters like acetylcholine, methacholine, carbachol, bethnicol, and the second category is alkaloids: muscarine, pilocarpine, ercolin. And the second type is anticholinesterases, that are acetylcholine esterases inhibitors. They are of two types, reversible and irreversible. We have already seen the carbamates, that those are 5,6-stigmine, neostigmine, pyridostigmine, rivastigmine, and non-carbamates androphonium, donepezil, galantamine. In irreversible carbamates are carbaryl and propoxyl, and organophosphates are diflos, DFP, ecothiophate, malathion, and diazinon. So these are the classification and examples. We are here studying mostly about cholinergic agonists and not about anticholinesterases. Move on to the next slide. Now here we are talking about the cholinergic transmission and its mechanism of action. Firstly, cholinergic transmission is the process of synaptic transmission which uses mainly acetylcholine as a transmitter. As the name indicates, cholinergic transmission. So here the neurotransmitter is acetylcholine. It is found widely in the peripheral and central nervous system. So in both types of nervous system it is found. Here acetylcholine acts on nicotinic and muscarinic receptors. Acetylcholine has two receptors. It acts on nicotinic and muscarinic receptor. Here cholinergic transmission you can see in the diagram. Let me zoom on the diagram. So here you can see the first part is synthesis of acetylcholine. Transport of choline is inhibited by hemicholinium. Second is uptake into storage vesicle. Acetylcholine is protected from degradation in the vesicle. Release of neurotransmitter. Release is blocked by botulinum toxin. Spider venom causes release of acetylcholine. 4. Binding to the receptor. Postsynaptic receptor is activated by binding of the neurotransmitter. 5th, degradation of acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is rapidly hydrolyzed by acetylcholinesterases in the synaptic cleft. 6th, recycling of choline. Choline is taken up by the neuron. So, that was the mechanism of action for cholinergic transmissions. Now, we come to the next topic, that is cholinergic receptors. Cholinergic receptors are receptors on the surface of cells that get activated when they bind a type of neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Here, cholinergic receptors are of two types, nicotinic and muscarinic. In nicotinic, there are NN and NM. Apart from this, they also have NG, but here it is not mentioned. Muscarinic have M1, M2, M3, M4 and M5. So here this slide is very important. Location of cholinergic receptors. Nicotinic receptors have N1 or NM, that is located at neuromuscular junction. We need to learn this. This is very important topic. N2 or NN, that is autonomic ganglia, central nervous system, adrenal medulla. It is present in all these locations. Now we talk about muscarinic receptors. M1 is present in hippocampus, stratum cortex. M2 present in forebrain, thalamus, heart, pupil, spinal cord, exocrine glands. M3 present in brain, hypothalamus, pupil, exocrine, peripheral arteries. M4 present in stratum, cortex, hippocampus, spinal cord. M5 present in dopaminergic neurons, basal ganglia and brain vasculature. So these are the locations that are very important to know for further studies and higher studies. So we should learn this slide. On to the next slide, we have pharmacological action. The pharmacological action, since there are two neurotransmitters, muscarinic and nicotinic, so both have some pharmacological actions. So for muscarinic, first we will talk about muscarinic. Heart rate decreases and it produces cardiac arrest. Blood vessel vasodilation, BP decreases. Smooth muscle, contraction of smooth muscle. Secretion, increase secretion. Eye, contraction of pupil, decrease intraocular tension. Intraocular tension can be called as the pressure that is applied on the optic nerve. Nicotinic. For nicotinic, autonomic ganglia stimulate both sympathetic and parasympathetic ganglia at high doses. When the dose is too high, then they stimulate both the ganglias. Skeletal muscle. Intophoretic application of ACH. ACH is acetylcholine to muscle end plate, causes contraction of fiber. So here pharmacological action for both the receptors is given. Now we come to the uses. Acetylcholine is not used because of quickly fading and non-selective action. So it is not used. Atropine competitively antagonize muscarinic actions. This is an important point. We should learn this. Adrenaline is a physiological antagonist. Drug effects of cholinergic agents. We get meiosis, salivation, lacrimation, urination, bronchoconstriction, defecation and decreased heart rate. So that was all about cholinergic drugs. Once we can revise from the starting, we came to know the name is parasympathetic drugs. Then the classification, cholinergic agonist and anticholinesterase. Then the mechanism of action, cholinergic transmission, acetylcholine as a neurotransmitter. Then there are receptors called nicotinic and muscarinic. Then the location of nicotinic and muscarinic receptors. Then the pharmacological action of muscarinic and nicotinic both on various parts of the body. Then the uses and the drug effects of cholinergic agents. So that was all about cholinergic drugs. See you next time. Thank you for listening to me.